السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. حضورنا الكريم، دكتورنا البروفيسور حيدر اللواتي، أهلا وسهلا بكم جميعا في المجلس الكيميائي والمحاضرة الأولى من المجلس. شكرا لكم على حضوركم وحرصكم على الحضور. طبعا هذا المجلس راح يكون بشكل مستمر ومحاضرات متنوعة دائما بعد كل فترة، وكونوا حريصين انكم تكونوا مشاركين دائما ولا تفوتوا اي محاضرة. نرحب بالدكتور حيدر اللواتي. طبعا نبذة تعريفية بسيطة عن الدكتور حيدر والبروفيسور. طبعا دكتور مبروك على الترقية، فخر للقسم وفخر لنا كطلاب معك. طبعا دكتور حيدر أحمد اللواتي أستاذ وبروفيسور مشارك في قسم الكيمياء بكلية العلوم جامعة السلطان قابوس. له الكثير من الإنجازات، نشر أكثر من 50 مادة ومقال علمي، وشارك في أكثر من 25 مؤتمر، ناشر منتظم في مجلة وصحيفة محلية، نشر أكثر من 50 مقال عن تاريخ العلوم والعلوم الشعبية ومواضيع أخرى. حصل على العديد من الجوائز. أكمل أن الدكتور حصل على العديد من الجوائز التي لا يسعني أن أذكرها الآن. ما شاء الله تبارك الرحمن. إن شاء الله يعني دكتور حيدر هو قدوة لنا كطلاب معه، ونتمنى أن نحذو بحذوه ونخطو خطاه. المايك معك دكتور، تفضل.
شكرا جزيلا على الاستضافة، ونشكر المجلس الكيميائي شورى وصايف على تنظيم هذا المجلس، وأيضا أشكرك على التقديم. طيب، إن شاء الله. طبعا الوقت المخصص وطويل، ساعتين، وأنا ما عندي هلقة كلام أتكلم، بس إن شاء الله نحاول نخلص في فترة أقل، يعني ما بتطول أكثر من ساعة بإذن الله تعالى. فخلينا نبدأ حتى نستطيع أن يعني نخلص في الوقت المحدد. ما أعرف إذا تقدرون تشوفون الشاشة الحين.
أيوة دكتور، واضح.
تشوفون شاشة العرض؟ لا؟
نعم.
البرزنتيشن واضح عندكم؟
واضح.
جميل. طيب، طبعا مثل ما انتم تعرفون التايتل او التوبيك we're going to cover today. انا طبعا طلب مني انا اتكلم شوي بالعربي، فبيكون خليط بين اللغه العربيه والانجليزيه، ونشوف كيف الفلو حيمشي. اتمنى ان شاء الله انه استطيع ان اخليكم امام الشاشه لمده وقت المحاضره، لانه واحد من التحديات في الزوم انك انت تخلي المستمع معك طول فتره المحاضره. But let me try my best. Can I have my personal chemical laboratory? هذا السؤال, or what we would try to do is to see, is that possible where we are? Can we have such things called personal chemical laboratory? Now, the first question you may come or on your face is, on your head, يعني, and in your brain, is why is that? Okay, why we need to have a personal chemical laboratory? Now, of course, what is personal chemical laboratory? If you remember, I'm sure some of you will have these. كان في sets of chemical sets. هذه تباع في الأسواق. يعني أتذكر لما كنت صغير كان عندي واحد one of the chemical sets. كنت أقوم في بعض التجارب وأجمع الأطفال وتصير مثل ألعاب سحرية كأني قاعد أقوم فيها. مثلا أضيف phenolphthalein to some base solutions, وبعدين اللون يتغير إلى pink color, و it's like you adding two colorless solutions to a pink color solution. This is what we mean by personal chemical laboratory, but these are simple ones. Yeah. What we are talking about now, a real personal chemical laboratory that you can have it at home. Now the question is, why we need this? Well, if we look right now to this situation, for example, sanitizers. Now, I receive many calls, many WhatsApps. Is this product is good? Is it contain 70% alcohol? Can we test that? صحيح في quality control labs في ضبط جودة and there are some authorities that they testing these things. But customers, and because of the variety of products available in the market, people looking for, confirming that this is really contains 70% alcohol, because, if it is less than that, then it's a risky thing to use. So it's really containing 70%. Can we test? Is there any device we can use to test this and confirm that it contains 70% alcohol? A similar thing if we talk about, for example, herbal medicines. These are really herbal? Do they contain some adulterated, some medicines, some synthetic medicines? And similarly, for example, honey. Honey is very expensive. Is it really authentic, tabi'i, or it's artificial? Some sugar is added to it, and so on. So many of these questions are rising, and with the concern increasing in with people, in soon future, everybody will have to have some control on these products and would like to know if these products really fulfill the requirements he is looking for. And here comes the personal chemical laboratories. The question is, can we as a chemist or a scientist provide the customer with a product, a scientific product, that can test these things for him? Can we provide a product that can ensure or can test that this sanitizer having 70% alcohol? Okay, this herbal medicines is not adulterated. This is pure honey. It's not, no sugar added to it. It's natural one, and so on. So this is a big challenge we as a chemist and scientists going to face very soon. And if we are, the question is how far we can go and provide a toolkit for the customers to test these things and ensure that they have a product of quality they are looking for. Now, let's look to the history of this personal chemical laboratories. Well, if we look to the history of personal chemical laboratories, actually these chemical sets, this is for education purpose, and these really started in 1990s, so it's very old. It's really more than 100 years back. People started to use these sets. In 1970s, we started to get some real chemical testing products like glucose meters for diabetes. This was in 1970s. Similar things with pregnancy testing. Pregnancy testing we started also in the same year in 1970s. So these products, so this is like a small history for this, and you can see these glucose and meat and pregnancy testing devices. These started in 1970s. So, but after 1970s, after this pregnancy testing and glucose meter testings, these are very popular ones, and we know it's available. But after this, there are very limited developments in this regard. And therefore, there's not much development in this personal chemical laboratories. You won't find any other chemical kits at a home and people using them other than these ones. Now, If we compare this with, say, the technology development, like if you look to the computers and if we look to the flash memories, for example, flash memory started in 2004, and you can see now significant development we are seeing. Same thing with mainframes. We started in 1960s. Okay, in 1980s, there were few. There was a mainframe in SQU, and 1990s and 1980s. We started with mainframe, huge stuff. It's almost like taking one full room. Yeah, and now everything is on your small mobile phones. You can have all these features. So there was so much progress in other technology areas, although they started later than the personal chemical laboratories. But the personal chemical laboratories, very little development happened. Something very interesting with this technology also we observe is that this technology also associated, the development associated with miniaturization, تصغير المنتج. So it's not only we are improving in technology in terms of performance and كفاءة المنتج, but also on miniaturizing that and make it smaller and smaller and smaller. So miniaturization, there's something very interesting thing about miniaturization. It's also improving the technology. So it's not only we are making this small, but we also improve the technology further. Now, obviously, this PCL, which we talked about for people and for customers, for in-house use, if you like, people are interested in two questions: qualitative analysis and a quantitative analysis. What the product contain? Is there any? Is it 70% alcohol? And the other question is, the alcohol is there really? So it's two questions, qualitative and a quantitative analysis. And this is really the analytical chemistry. So PCL development is more related to analytical chemistry as a field of chemistry. Of course, I have a bias toward analytical chemistry, but that's the reality. Okay. Now, one thing about analytical chemistry, and that's also true, it's a very multidisciplinary and it's highly influenced by progress in various technologies like engineering, communications, and we will see that. And of course, the development in chemical science. But to develop PCL, there are certain requirements and very important requirements. Now, some of these requirements of course, the PCL should be sensitive enough to do for you the job, but really the key thing is simplicity. Now, if you're going to provide PCL, personal chemical laboratory, then it should be simple. Yeah, it should not be a complicated devices that people will not buy. Simplicity is a key thing in these types of devices. They should not be expensive, yeah, because we are talking about people, we are not talking about organizations. And they should be pretty safe and green because, again, they are non-professional people going to handle these things. Now, another thing, they should be highly selective because you cannot have a general method that people then will develop it and make it selective. It's impossible. You are not talking to professionals, you are talking to general people. Therefore, the method should be selective. Like, for example, if you look for determination of glucose in blood for diabetes, this is a very selective method. Sample is blood, and the analyte is glucose, and all the customer do, or the people do, they take the drop of blood and they put it on the strip, and then they get a number. Simple, highly selective, not very expensive, green, sensitive, and miniaturized. It's a very small, and it's becoming small and small and small. So these are some important requirements for the PCL. Okay. Now, obviously, with these requirements, this is pretty challenging. And what we can do, we need to find out how we can make these types of things. Well, obviously, we need some innovative thinking to have such device. Now, let me talk about innovation. What we mean by innovation? Well, one way a human being innovating is by copying from nature. We did lots of copy from nature. And I don't need to give examples. Camera, we are copying an human eye. Airplane, we are copying birds, and so on. So we are good copier from nature. So let's see, can nature have this PCL? Something similar to PCL in nature that we can copy? Now, this is very interesting. I like to define innovation like this. If you are the first person copy from nature, you are innovator. If you are second, third, fourth, then you are cheater because you cheated. Okay, so to be innovative, you should be the first person who copy from nature. Okay, so let's try to see the nature, what they have, what ideas are there in nature that we can copy and make this PCL devices. Now, if we try to do this, then, well, let's look to the human brain. Because interestingly, human brain is one of the most efficient personal chemical laboratory in the world. It's your personal, nobody, it's really personal, right? And you do lots of chemical analysis. If we look to the synapse is a structure that permits neuron to pass an electrical and chemical signal to another cell. And then you can have all these visuals, all what you are hearing now from me, hopefully not sleepy, okay? You are looking at me on the screen. All the input you are taking is through the synapse. And then there is some chemical signals and electrical signals, and then you can see. So it's a chemical process happening, and your human brain or your brain is really a very personal chemical laboratory you are having. Okay. Now, human adult brain estimated to contain 10 to the power of 14 to 5 to 10 to the power of 14, which is 100 to 500 trillion synapses every cubic millimeter contains. Roughly 1 billion of them. So they are very selective. They are very sensitive. Yeah. Very speedy. Yeah. And miniaturized. So they have all the requirements for PCL really. Okay. The question is, can we mimic this lab? Can we mimic this lab? هل بالإمكان تقليد مختبر الدماغ عند الإنسان؟ Now, some of you will say, well, no, because they're using very specific type of chemicals. Yeah, that's right. We are using very specific type of chemicals. They are using our brain uses really, really very special type of chemicals. That's right. But what if I give you these chemicals? And I would like from you to chat with me now. Say, let's suppose if I give you these chemicals, the brain chemicals, can you work as efficient as your brain? You can just say yes, no. Okay. Can you have you have all the chemicals. I gave you all the chemicals that brain is having. Okay. Can you? Okay. I can see no, 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 no. Okay. And now the question is, come on, guys, you're a scientist, yeah? Okay. Why no? You have the chemicals, all the brain chemicals you have. Oh, okay. So no, 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 no. Okay. But why not similar? I'm giving you identical chemicals, not the similar chemicals. I'm going to give you identical chemicals, the chemicals that the brain has. Okay. Can you do? Yes. Okay. I find one yes. I'm saying yes. Okay. Some people says yes. The question is why not? Yeah. Amal says why not? It's a big thing, sir. Why not? If you have the chemicals, why you cannot make the chemistry that your brain can make? That is the question. Okay. Well, it will not be the same efficiency. Okay. Now again, why it's not the same efficiency? Anybody? Yes. The truth is, will not be the same efficiency. But why is that? What do you think the reason is? Okay. Well, let me thank you for your answers and interactions. Okay, but this is it's too complicated. Analysis error, complicated. Well, okay, it's actually not that reason. One of the key differences is the architecture of our lab. Now, what we mean by architecture of lab. هندسة المختبر. The brain architecture lab is very much different than our laboratories. The lab we have is different. It's not الهندسة طريقة بناء المختبر عندنا is very much different than the architecture of the brain lab. So it turned out that we need to change the architecture of the lab. هندسة المختبر, we need to change it. Okay? And just to simplify for you, let me show you the next slide, which will make it even more clearer for you. Now, this is a Mac. You cannot now go past there, but basically, analytical labs, the labs we have, it's like dine-in restaurant. You go inside the lab, inside المطعم وتاكل فيه. But the human brain is drive-through type lab. Okay, ايش الفرق? You can see, of course, a drive-through is much faster, right? Compared to dine-in. If you dine in, you will spend longer time, spend more time inside to have your food. But if you are drive-through, it's very fast. Yeah, drive-through is the way brain work. Our labs is more like you are having food inside the restaurants. So what we need to do, we need to change our labs from dine-in restaurants to drive-through restaurants. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. So basically what we need to do, we need to change from beaker, yeah, to, and this is like, as I said, you are eating inside, yeah, inside the lab, inside, sorry, restaurant, and take your chemicals and make drive-through. You see, these are drive-through. What happens in these labs? There's no beakers there. There are only tubes. And what happens, the chemical is just moving, and while they are moving, all chemical reaction takes place, or detection takes place. So it's like drive through, as we said. So people said, okay, let's do this. Let's change our chemical structure, architecture from beaker to flow systems. So we change from having beakers to have something like this, a chip with channels. And then we pass on chemicals in these channels and do chemical reactions in these channels and detection in these channels. And because they are moving, this will be very fast, and therefore we can get fast, efficient chemical systems. And it turns out this is perfectly true. Yeah, we can, of course, we are not reaching to the brain efficiency, but we are not too far also. Okay, we are pretty, this is really, really fast. Yeah, you can have very fast, very selective systems. Of course, we are not close to the brain because we are not using highly selective chemicals like the brain use. Okay, we are still not unable to synthesize such a good chemicals. But the architecture is closer to the human brain architecture. And this is what we call it microfluidic systems. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So this is your lab. You inject your chemicals in these things, and then you will be able to mix and get, you know, your results, and you can have your detector there, and you can detect, and you can have all these things. These chips can be made from glass, from polymers, from silicon, from ceramics, and nowadays we can use 3D printers. Remember, I said we can have a lab on it using 3D printers. This is in SQU. This is printed in SQU. We have a 3D printer in my lab. If you visit my lab, you will see it's now 3D printers is there, and this has been printed in my lab, and this is a lab on a chip. Really, it's a plastic chip being printed by one of my PhD students. And yeah, you can do some mixing there, and this is just to show you some of the mixing you can do and how you can precisely control on mixing, droplets formation, and so on. Let's look to this video for time being. See, these are just to show you how mixing can be done there. You see the droplets forming, and then they are mixed together. See two droplets, and then they mix together. Drop together, droplets, and then they mix together. You see that? Beautifully can be controlled. This is just using microfluidic and 3D printer. So you can have this type of chip just using 3D printers, which is available, and you can purchase that 3D printers easily. So this is something you can do. But then a better idea comes, and a much more convenient idea is also developed. And sorry, that is to use paper-based microfluidics. Now, this is really, really interesting thing because paper is used as a substrate. So instead of using chip, plastic, glass, we use just paper. Of course, if you use paper, paper is very easily available. It's very simple. It's low cost. Yeah, so it's a very good, not only for educational field, it's very good for educational field to demonstrate various scientific concepts. But if we can develop a real scientific product, yeah, then this would be very cheap and easily accessible for people. Okay, now how a lab on paper device works. Well, it's basically what you have your paper, and what you do in this paper, you make hydrophobic or wax a pattern, okay? And then what you do, you add your chemicals, which is in aqueous media. And then what happens, because hydrophobic and hydrophilic don't like each other, your water will flow inside that channel. I'll show you how to do that. And in fact, you can start after the lecture, you can do it at home yourself. I'll just show you some examples very soon. So basically what you need there, you need to prepare the design just using PowerPoint presentation, whatever design you want. I want channel, simple channel, complicated channel. And then you need to use a special printer, which we will talk about this later on. That's a wax-based printer. So you will print your paper and take your wax-printed paper, put it in the oven, and that's it. Your device is ready. Let me show you some examples. For example, this one. You see, this is like a flask. Yeah, this is hydrophobic channel. So the water, and this is colored water. So you can see the droplet is not passing away from this channel. Why it don't pass this channel? Because this is hydrophobic and water is hydrophilic. So they don't like each other. So you can compart تحجز water inside this borders, and then the water will flow only in this direction. So this is like your channel. So it's like a microfluidic channel, but it's on paper. Very simple way of doing it. Of course, so this is another one. But if you use hydrophobic solution like oil, then it will, of course, spread and goes to the border, because this is hydrophobic and this is also hydrophobic. We know from chemistry, hydrophobic like hydrophobic, therefore it will pass and cross the barrier and you will have like this. But if you have an aqueous solution will not pass the barrier. It don't like it. Let me show you this movie again, and then you can tell me again. You can write your own observations. I'll just show you both together. Okay, just watch the movies and see what's your observation. Yeah, just watch and tell me your observations. Okay, let this pass through. Again, this is hydrophobic surfaces. The black is hydrophobic. This is your paper. This is two solutions. I'm passing, putting inside this channel, and the solution is passing through like this because it cannot pass through this barrier. Okay, but what you observe, okay, this is the left side one, and this is the right side one. Any observations? Okay, if you have any observations, what's the difference between the two? Tell me. You write that down. The one on the right is faster. Okay. Any other observations? What do you observe from the right-hand side one? Right one is spread outside. Right one is hydrophobic. Yeah. Yes, exactly. What we did, just to show you, the right one is hydrophobic solution. So it passed through the barrier and it just damaged the whole thing. Okay. So it's really a surfactant. We added surfactant to this solution. Because we added surfactant, then it's become, it just passed through and it damages the wax barrier. But this is aqueous solution, and therefore it just passed through without crossing the barriers, yeah, because it's an aqueous solution. So I hope the concept is clear. Yeah, if you can have hydrophobic barrier and hydrophilic water solution, then the hydrophilic solution will not pass the barrier, and you can control on the flow, and you can make chemical reactions there. Okay, let me show you something more interesting. This is another one, and what we did here, we made this channel broader. You see that? And this is narrower. And we put solution here. So what happened to the solution? The solution passed here, and the solution didn't pass here. Why is that? Because there is a pressure here, more than the pressure here. There's less pressure here, higher pressure here. It did not move there. So you see, on lab on a paper, you can control the flow to which direction you want to pass by putting by changing the dimension of the channels. So you can do lots of manipulation with this type of work. Now, I promise you, you can do it at home. Okay, let me show you something very interesting, and you can do that at home. You can start after the lecture immediately. Do it yourself. Okay, just take a bit thick papers. Yeah, like painting papers. Okay, take that paper and take crayon pen. You know crayon pen, al-sham'. Yeah, and draw that the shape you want. After you draw the shape, please draw it carefully and make بقوة, and use strong force when you are making the lines, the borders. Okay, do that. Take your paper, put it in oven or in microwave. Why is that? Because that will melt for you the crayon wax, and it will penetrate through the paper, and that will make like a barrier. You can then take 3 different solutions and apply these 3 solutions on the on your design. Okay, so one you can make aqueous, one you can make oil, and one you can make soap solution. And if you do that, this is what will happen to you. This is one of my undergraduate student work. You see, this is the aqueous solution. This is a crayon pen, wax. Yeah, this is the aqueous solution. You can see it did not pass the wax, the crayon pen, because it don't like it. This is the oil, and you can see the oil, it just spread everywhere. And this is the surfactant, of course, the surfactant also pass everywhere. So you can do that. Yeah, this is another one. Again, you can see this is not passing. This is passing because these are more hydrophobic. And this you can do it at home easily. Okay, this is another one. And again, you can do this with no difficulties. Of course, we know that. I don't want to talk because water is a polar molecule and it has this intramolecular forces, hydrogen bonding, and etc. And in fact, you can do some other interesting examples. For example, you can test which of these crayon color is more hydrophobic. Just take aqueous water droplet and put it, and you see the angle, this angle. The higher the angle, the more hydrophobic the surface is. So if you use yellow color, you will see this is the angle. If you use, say, green color, you see this is slightly more hydrophobic. But if you use black, you see it's very hydrophobic. So black is more hydrophobic than the other colors. Okay. Again, you can do these tests at home. Okay. So this is an example of what you can, some of these simple experiments just to illustrate and do some fun while you're studying and staying at home yourself. Now, okay, let's go to some more serious work. Now, okay, we can do these things on paper. Okay, what about detecting it? How I quantify, how I quantify how much of a certain chemical is present in my solution using paper. Well, one of the way you can do that is colorimetric method. If you can develop a colorimetric reaction on paper, then you can quantify. And I'll show you again, this is all you can do it at home easily. You can have your personal lab at home, do that easily. Let me show you how you can do that. This is an example. This is just a plate we made using 3D printer, and then we made these papers. It's just filter papers, okay? So we use filter papers for our work because filter papers is very reproducible. It's more for science reasons, so therefore it's reproducible is better. Okay, there's a question, the intensity of color will affect. Yes, the intensity will affect because the more intense the color of the surface, it means there's more wax there. So therefore, if there's more wax, it will be more hydrophobic there. This was from Seth. Thank you, Seth. Okay, so what we did here, we developed a colorimetric method, and the color intensity depends on the concentration of analyte. So this is a low concentration of analyte, this is a high concentration of analyte, and you can see the color is significantly improving. In fact, we were able to do a calibration curve using just simple paper using this type of work. Okay. Now, what you do, how you measure the intensity of these. Okay, I'm saying this is intense. Okay, you can visualize, but can you quantify? Actually, you can do that. And again, you can do that. Okay, the viscosity, yes, the viscosity. Yeah, for the flow, you don't want to have very viscous solution. If you have a viscous solution, then the flow will be a challenging thing. So you want to have dilute aqueous solution. Okay, so let's go back. Let me show you how you can quantify, how you can convert that color a number so you can plot calibration curve. Well, you can do that very simple way. What you need just a box, black box, with put some light inside that, and then cover, and then just take your mobile and take the picture of the photograph of this light of different color of the colors you have. Once you do that, then there is a software called Image. You go to that software, it's a variable on it, and highlight the center of that, of the color, and it will convert you to a peak with a number there. That number is the intensity of the color. Take that and you can plot calibration curve, like the one which I showed you before, this type of things. Again, you can do that out at home. You have your mobile, that's good enough to do calibration curve by yourself while you're sitting at home. You can do also a light detection, chemoluminescence detection. Now, what is chemoluminescence? It's a generation of light from chemical reactions. So if there's a chemical reaction, that chemical reaction generates light, and the light intensity proportion to the concentration of your analyte. Okay, so the higher the concentration of your analyte, the higher the light emission intensity. The best chemoluminescence you can see, this is before COVID-19, إذا تروح تمشي على شاطئ القرم أو بعض شواطئ في السلطنة, you can see a very beautiful color coming from the seaside, from the waves, yeah, from the beach. This light is a bioluminescence. We generate this light in the lab, and we call it chemoluminescence. Okay, so this is the chemoluminescence, and if you see this is in the lab, and they really look nice color solution. So what we do in the lab there, we try to develop a chemical reaction on papers that will generate light. Okay, and when it generates light, we capture that light with our mobile phones, and then that light intensity can be determined using softwares. Okay, again, these softwares are available on net, so you don't need to purchase. So basically, what you need to do this experiment, you need paper, yeah, and then you need some chemicals which can be immobilized on these papers. So you sell this paper with the chemicals, and everyone has his mobile, and you can sell this a black box, which will cost you like 2 riyal or 500, 1 riyal maybe. Okay, so and that's all what you need really. Okay, so what you need, you will put all the chemicals there, and then this is the way it works. I'll show you how we are doing this in the lab. Okay, so we take micropipettes. Okay, and then we add some chemicals, specific chemicals. This is our research, basically. Our research is to develop the chemicals, right ones, so that we can put it on the paper to do the chemical analysis later on. Okay, so thank you, Matar. This is incredible. Thank you very much. Let me show you this. This will be even more interesting to you. Okay, so just take these small chemicals, put them on this paper, okay, and then, so this is the second reagents, we are putting it on a paper, and then there's a third one, I suppose. Yeah, there's one more, okay. Okay, so yeah, this is the third one. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so these three, so our paper is ready now. We will sell this paper. This paper, we will sell it to anybody who would like to do a personal chemical laboratory at home. Okay, what he need to have the mobile and a black box. Okay, we sell him this black box, say 2 riyal, and this one maybe this will be quite expensive, so it will be like 5 riyals. Okay, so that will cost him 5 riyals plus 2 riyals, that's 7 riyals, and he has a mobile. So what he will do? Well, he will take that paper, okay, and then this is him, a customer. He will put it there, okay, and then he will close that, and then he will find a pump to introduce small volume there, and you will not see anything now. And then he will record. I don't think so you saw anything. So what I'll show you now in this slide, it will be clearer. Basically, what you will see is a light coming like this, blue intense color light. I hope you saw it. Let me show you again. I'll just go take it back. You see that light? See, there's nothing there. Okay, so watch now and you will see. Yeah, you saw the light? That is the light. This is chemoluminescence reaction. So it's intense light. You can see that. It's very intense light. Yeah. And then this is with your mobile. You can record that in your mobile. Yeah. So that is your mobile recording the light that comes from a chemical reaction. Okay. In fact, this light is related to the intensity or the concentration of antioxidants in honey sample. So the higher the intensity, the higher the antioxidants in the honey sample. This is a software available again on a mobile, and it will convert that light intensity to a number. So you can see like a peak coming out there. It's much more clear. You see this? This is just the light intensity, and it's integrating that, and it will give you as a number there. So this type of work is just what we want. Now, although this looks very impressive, but you know, this box, and it's a bit, we want, in fact, even simpler than that. So what we are doing is this one now. And now this is much easier. You don't need anything. What we have an adapter, which is a 3D adapter, 3D using 3D printer. We made this adapter so we can put our mobile face in. And then this is our sample. So look how we can do. We already put all the chemicals there. We're just going to put our analyte. So, and then you will see that. So what we did here, this is our all the chemicals are already there. So what we do, we take our sample, put it there, yes, and then put there, and then record. Okay, so you will see the color coming up. You see that? This color is now measured by your mobile, and then you can quantify that and determine how much antioxidant you have in your honey. Is it worth 50 riyal, or it's just very little antioxidant? It's not worth even the amount you are paying for your honey. You can test that at home with this technology. So the key thing really in all this work, or our research really is on this paper, how to make chemicals on this paper that it is selectively give you color or light proportional to the concentration of your analyte you are interested with. Okay, so that is the key thing. And I'm sure you heard that the latest HM grant my research group obtained in 2020. This is regarding the determination of glucose, fructose, sucrose, and maltose in Omani natural honey باستخدام مختبر ورقي مبتكر وجهاز هاتف نقال قارئ. هذه هي الفكرة. This is the idea. The idea that we should hopefully be able to develop a device similar to what I showed you, that it can measure for you whether the honey, the glucose and fructose and sucrose and maltose in honey samples. Now, why is that? What we are hoping to do with this? Well, honey is very important to Oman. We are producing around 500,000 kilogram of honey in a year. So it's very well known. Omani honey is very expensive, very well known honey. Yeah. So that's why we are very much interested. Now, one thing is very interesting in honey is the ratio of fructose to glucose should be below 1. If it is below 1, then it's authentic. It's not been adulterated. If the ratio is more than 1, then it's adulterated. Okay? So what we are hoping to do, now we know honey is very expensive in Oman. Asal al-Jabal, Sumar, Asal al-Jabal, it reaches even 50 riyal. Yeah. Now, is it really 50 riyal? Is it worth it? All we do, the test, we depends on, in fact, the person who sells the honey. He will tell you, this is fantastic honey. Okay. And then okay, it's good one. How much? This is really pure. This is very good. It costs you 60 riyal. And you poor guy, we will buy it because we don't know. We feel this is a really good honey. Okay. But then we do the testing, and I'll show you some interesting results. You will see no, it's not worth it. Okay. The supermarket one, which is only 2 riyal, may be better than this one. Okay. But if you have such device, which costs you like another 5 riyal, 6 riyal, you add 5 riyal, and you will check if your honey is good or not, it's worth it, isn't it? So that's the idea. The idea is to have your personal chemical laboratory at home. You can test your honey samples. Okay, so that's the idea we have. Now, here we will enter to some chemistry. There are 4 slides. I'm sorry for this. I was trying to just add some flavor of chemistry here. Okay, real chemistry. So let me try a little bit of chemistry we will find here. So basically, what we have here is this is our paper. Okay, and what we have in this paper is we have something called metal organic frame, MOF. It's a material that we develop in the lab. It's an organic, inorganic crystalline material, highly porous and very stable. Now, highly porous is very good for catalysis work because you can have lots of very good for chemical reactions and for catalytic activities. So we take this basically for determination of glucose in nature. What we do in nature is very selective. So what nature use glucose oxidase. It's an enzyme from nature because remember we need a selective things. So glucose oxidase convert glucose to another compound. Okay, and it will, in the presence of oxygen, it will produce H2O2. Now, nothing else will interfere. So glucose oxidase specifically convert glucose to something else and produce H2O2. Then there is HRP enzyme, which will react, convert H2O2 to OH radical. Okay. So this will convert H2O2 to OH radicals. We added this reagent, this compound, and then this compound react with OH radicals, and it will convert to this compound, which will be yellow in color. Okay? So that is the concepts. Now what we did here, we replaced HRP with COMF, which is cobalt-based metal organic frame. Okay, so that's what we did. So we have glucose oxidase. We added, and I will show you why we did this. We added cobalt MOF, which is cobalt metal organic frame, with glucose oxidase. This is added to the paper, and that is what you can sell to people. Okay. Then people need to buy this OPD and add 2 microliter of this. Okay, and then wait for 1 minute, and then add 2 ml of your glucose solution, like your honey sample. Okay, and as soon as you add your glucose, a yellow to brown color on paper will develop. After 1 minute, use your smartphone, take the photo, the paper, okay, take the photo. So that will be colorimetric method. Interestingly, you can expose your paper to UV light. Okay, and if you expose to UV light, it will fluorescence, and it will give you fluorescence as well. So you can have 2 detection method on paper. You can have the colorimetric, or you can have fluorescence measurements as well. Now, why we used cobalt MOF instead of HRP enzymes? Well, when you use cobalt MOF, the color changes immediately to yellow color. If you use HRP, it will take 10 minutes. You don't wait for 10 minutes. This is too much for customers. People look for immediate results. So this is not a good thing to have. Now, the other thing, and this is really the more important thing, enzymes are not very stable. It turns out when we use COMF, the glucose oxidase become very stable, and the paper becomes stable for 60 days, for 2 months. So we can make the paper, sell to the people can store that paper for 2 months, nothing going to happen, and still they can use it, and still they can get good results, reproducible results. But if you use your HRP, only 3 days and paper goes. Obviously, you cannot sell something that is only stable for, well, you can sell, but it will be pretty expensive. It's like long life milk and short life milk. Now, of course, this is very interesting. This is very good, all these things, but still it's not an ideal system. We're happy we did this. It's not that expensive. Somebody was saying, yes, it's expensive. It's not expensive. It's very, this is not expensive at all. You don't need photomultipliers. You don't need UV visible. You need a fluorescence. All you need is just your mobile and that paper. That's all what you need. Okay, but ideally, we need to have a system that we add all the reagents, and the customer should add only its analyte. Now, currently, the customer should add OPD solution because this is not stable, unfortunately. Okay, so the customer should add OPD and should add the honey sample or glucose solution. Ideally, this should not be the case. OPD should be added to the paper, and it should be stable as well. So this is one of the challenges right now. The other thing is, okay, the paper is stable for 2 months, which is good, of course, but it's not good enough. Ideally, it should be at least 6 months stable. You can see how difficult is these things. Yeah, it's not easy to develop. It's so many challenges we face and so many small things. To make a product for a customer is not easy task to do. So this is just to give you some flavor of chemistry that we are like to do. Now, I'd like to finish this with few slides showing you some interesting results from my research, some results that will have benefit in your, I give you some interesting information to you. Now, what we did, antioxidants in fruit products and honey samples. We did this analysis using microfluidics, okay? Okay, I will come to this question from Nasser. Says how we can detect by the color is perfect for honey or not. Okay, we can. I will talk about this later on, because what you can do, the intensity of color, you're going to dilute your honey in water. So you take a very little honey and then dilute in water, okay, and then you take that solution, put it on the paper. If the intensity is increased, it will not tell you if this is authentic or not, because we did, yes, it will tell you if it's authentic or not, because it will tell you how much glucose is there. If we develop a method for fructose, which we are working on, then the ratio will tell you if this is authentic honey or not authentic honey. Okay, so because the ratio should be less than 1. If it's above 1, then this is not authentic honey. I hope I answered your question, Nasser. Okay, I'm back to this slide. This is antioxidants in Omani fruit. Now, antioxidants, antioxidants are very important product. In fact, even nowadays for COVID, okay, it's really important. It has so much health benefits. And pomegranates is one of the fruit juice which has antioxidants. So what we did with the survey in the market honey, is there differences in the antioxidant content of pomegranate juices. So what we did, we took Jabal al-Akhdar. These three from Jabal al-Akhdar. These are Yemeni pomegranate, Roman. This is from Tunisia and this is from Egypt. And these are artificial ones. These are, commercial juices. This is a Rawabi, this is Robican, and this is POM from England. And you can see these are the antioxidants from fruit. You can see this is really stable, and they are very similar in the content. But you look to this commercial ones are usually lower. Why this is higher? Oh, this was really sore. It's جدا حامض كان, and it was clear they added lots of vitamin C to it. So this is, it's full of vitamin C. This really test is not as a pomegranate juice, but this is the fresh juice, and this is the artificial or the commercial ones. So this is some work we did it there. Now another work we did also is the honey analysis. Again, we determined antioxidants in honey. Now honey is very expensive in Oman, and there are different types. There is Sudr, there are Sumor, and there is Sukar al-Fawakeh. Okay, I'll come back to you, Nasser, later on. Okay, let me finish with this first. So honey, so we have different type of honey, and they are very expensive, and from different areas. We have, so this, and one of the key components in evaluating honey is the content of antioxidant. In fact, the nutritional value of honey is mainly due to antioxidants. So if it is rich antioxidant, it's worth its price. If it is not that rich in antioxidant, it's not that much worth it. Okay? So antioxidant is one of the key components we are looking in honey. So what we did, we collected honey from different parts of Oman: Liwa, Ibri, Nizwa, Nakhel, Samail, and Sinao and so on. Okay, now I'm sure some of you will be from some part of from these cities. So let's check your honey. How good is this honey? Okay, so this is some of the results we've got. So we divided the type of honeys to the common ones. So this is the commercial honey. These are the cedar honey, and this is the sumur honey. And you can see, obviously, clearly that cedar is better than the commercial, and most sumur honey is better than cedar honey. We know sumur is more expensive than cedar, okay? But not all sumur is as good as its price. All these are the same price. They will be around 50 riyals. Okay, this worth definitely, this worth. This is not too bad. But these ones, they are not worth 50 riyal. Go to the supermarket and buy 2 riyal honey. That would be maybe a more nutritional value than this sumur, which will cost you 50 riyal. Same thing with this cedar. This cedar is not worth it. Yeah, it's very, very expensive. Go to the supermarket and buy the supermarket one, which is only 2 riyal. So you see how important it is to do the investigation and see which honey is really worth its price. And on average, yes, sumur is better. And on average, of course, also cedar is better than the commercial. Okay, if you are lucky, you can get a very good sumur honey, which is really rich in antioxidants. Molasses, dibis, yeah. So we did also analysis for molasses. Molasses is a very good source for antioxidants, and some of them are really, really good. Date molasses is very good. It's very rich in antioxidants, okay? But it also has high concentration of sugar, so that may be an issue if you have an issue with sugars. Sugar molasses is also very rich in antioxidants, okay? So these are some dibis that is very interesting and very good ones. We did some herbal medicine analysis also in Oman, and to see if these medicines are real herbal or they are adulterated. Some synthetic material has been added, some synthetic medicines added to the honey samples, and claiming that this is medicine, this is herbal medicines. Well, we tested 80 samples, 60 of them, 63 was free from adulterate. In other words, they are really herbal, okay? Nothing is being added. 17 samples, we found there are some pharmaceuticals added to it. يعني ايش يسوون؟ ياخذون عينة العشبية ويضيفوا لها مواد صيدلانية وتباع على انها مواد عشبية. في الحقيقة هي ليست عشبية، هي مواد صيدلانية. طبعا احنا تواصلنا مع الجهات المسؤولة وتم سحب بعض العينات من السوق بسبب هذه العينات المغشوشة. So these are some of the work we did also there. Another work we did is the antibiotics in commercial milks. طبعا الحليب اللي يباع يضاف له مضادات أكسدة، عفوا مضادات حيوية لقتل البكتيريا الضارة، وهناك حد معين لكمية المضادات الحيوية اللي يجب مسموح لها أن تضاف في الحليب. فاحنا طورنا طرق حتى نشوف هل في الإمكان تحديد كمية هذه المضادات الحيوية الموجودة في الحليب المسوق في السلطنة. وكانت هذه النتائج المراعي وروابي ومزون والصفوة، وهذه كميات المضادات الحيوية اللي موجودة في هذا الحليب. طبعا كلها كانت الحمد لله within the limit and allowable limit, so there is no issue with that. So, dream technology. Well, what we are dreaming for? We have iPad, we have iPod, we have iPhone. What we are missing? Well, we are missing iLab. Yeah. So hopefully you guys will innovate iLab. Yeah, inshallah, in soon future. Okay, this is my website, the group research website. If you have anything, if you want to have some more information, you can just Google it, just visit this website and see what our activities. This is our microfluidic groups. This is for postgraduates work. So to enjoy and inspire a moment of happiness through discovery and success, join our group for your postgraduate studies. These are some of the achievements we have in this during all the research we did for my students and for me as well. Some of these certificates are for my PhD students and for some of them for my master's students as well. Acknowledgement, I would like to acknowledge all the other people who worked with me, Prof. Fakhruddin Sulaiman, Prof. Salma, Dr. Ali Lawati, Mr. Imad Noor, a pharmacist, Mr. Khalid, Mahmoud Al-Azwani, Iman Al-Gharibi. Mr. Mahmoud was my student in his MSc. He did his MSc with me. Dr. Sulaiman Al-Silemi, he is currently in University of Nizwa. Mrs. Mira Al-Nadabi, she is currently working in Royal Court. Dr. Abu Thain Al-Haddabi, she did her PhD with me. Mrs. Gowri, she was assistant research. Dr. Afdal Muhammad, he did his PhD with me. Azza Shimli, she is working in Royal Court. Dr. Baqiya Al-Magheri, some of the work I presented here is for Dr. Baqiya. She did her PhD with me. Ms. Iman Al-Lawati, she's assistant research and she's working in this there. And Iman Ali-Hayai, she's currently doing her PhD here. Dr. Bino and Dr. Jawad and Nafisa, they are postdoc here. I would like to thank my son Hadi and my colleague Ammar Lawati because they helped me with this presentation. And also I would like to thank the financial part. Royal Court, these research funds was supported by Royal Court, by Ministry of Health, and of course by the research TRC funds and His Majesty Grant Fund, MPI, Ministry of Health. And I would like to thank you all for listening. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer. Thank you very much. I hope I didn't take longer than what I expect, a little bit longer than what was I expecting. Sorry for 10 minutes more. Thank you very much.
You're welcome دكتور. ما قصرت، كان محاضرة مثرية ما شاء الله. بس لو ممكن نفتح المجال للناس عشان اللي تريد تسأل. بس يا جماعة رسلت لكم الرابط، ممكن تدخلوا فيه وتدخلوا الكود على أساس تكتبوا أي استفسار معكم.
Yeah, you can إذا في حد عنده سؤال ممكن يبعث في الجروب في الشات حتى.
ممكن في الشات بعد، بس اللي ما يحب يظهر اسمه ممكن يستخدم البرنامج.
جميل. Okay, that's good. Okay, you can visit the website I've mentioned to you. You can just go back to the YouTube and you can see that. Also, if you go to the SQU website, you will see my CV there, and in the CV you will see also the web page where you can see some of the research I'm doing. Okay, discuss about my research projects. Okay. Thanks for your interest, Anwar. For undergrad, if you are postgraduate, I can, because that means next year. But if you are undergraduate currently, I'm sorry, but I don't have space in my lab. It's really congested. So for undergraduate, it will not be possible for time being. Yusuf, where is the best place to buy some of the materials you've mentioned? If you clarify further which materials you are talking about. Regarding the papers, as I said, you can use just filter papers and crayon pen, you can do this. If you want to have a 3D printers, then you can just Google through and you will see lots of 3D printers. Other materials, we are doing that. You need to optimize and do that type of work. These are not still not selling those materials. It still is under research side. Yes, it's under research yet. Thank you, Aisha, for your comments. Not for university. Okay. You can contact me, Anwar, later on. We can discuss this. You can contact me and then we'll see what we can do. Okay. Nasser says, what's color appear in the last process to know the good honey? Okay. The good honey will be the intensity of the color. The higher the intensity of the color will reflect to you how much quantity of antioxidant you have. So we can make a table later on, and you can compare the intensity of the color with the table, and it will tell you how good is the honey is. Okay, so you can just compare the color with the color table later on. We can provide you, of course, in that case. Okay, this is from Huda. She says there are differences in efficiency using phone camera or UV light. Okay, no, if you use, okay, UV light was used for excitation and not for capturing the picture. Okay, so UV light, if you need to use it for fluorescence, so you can use it for fluorescence. But the phone camera was used for picturing. So all what pictures I've showed you is just phone camera, nothing else. The UV light was used for excitation. Okay, so that's what we are doing. I mean, that's the differences. Okay. Aryam, I think Al-Wahabi, she is asking, what is the best Omani company like Mazoon and other? We saw there was table of them, but I can't focus a lot. Okay, okay, this is regarding the antibiotics we found there. Antibiotics, which it was for some, it was only for Mazoon, really, Omani company. The other was from outside, but all the milks was good and within the allowable limit. So the antibiotics limit was not high there. It was all within the allowable limit. Okay, this is a question. Says, do you take Chem 1 next semester? No, I'm going to teach Chemistry 2, Chem 2102 next semester, and not Chemistry. Yes, Chem 2, Chemistry 2. I'm going to teach Chemistry 2 and not Chemistry 1. Yes. Okay. Somebody, Zainab, is asking how I can choose my project. Well, this requires another lecture, Zainab, but basically, it's not, you should enjoy it, of course. You should enjoy what you are thinking, what you are thinking to do. But also you should think about those projects that can improve your skills. Okay, remember, project is more about skills than anything else. So so you think about which of these projects is going to improve my skill more and more. Okay. I think that is a key thing in you selecting in your project. Is there any simple way طرق سهلة معرفة نسبة الكحول ببعض العطور? Well, no, there is no. It's difficult thing to do. I mean, definitely you cannot do it at home. It's difficult to determine how much alcohol there in perfumes. That's not straightforward to find it out. Okay, can we join your lab team? Well, it depends. You see, I need people with certain talent, certain qualifications so that I can give me some output. So yes, if you are qualified, you are most welcome. I have no problem. Okay. This is from Matar, says your investigation focused on in the amount of fructose to determine the quality, but what about other chemicals in honey? Aren't they play role in quality? Thank you very much. That's a very interesting question from Matar. Yes, in fact, that's exactly what we did. So initially we focused on antioxidants. So we developed a method for antioxidants. Okay, so antioxidants will give us investigation on the nutritional value of honey. Now, the second thing we are trying to do now in this project is to determine the glucose and fructose. So we will know if it is authentic honey or not. هل هذا العسل تمت إضافة سكر السكروز له أم لا أنه هو عسل طبيعي 100%. So combining the two techniques, antioxidants, which will determine the nutritional value, and the second technique, which will give us the authenticity of the honey, combining the two techniques together will give us a wealth of information. Yeah, it will tell you the quality. Is it worth the money you have? Yes, suppose if it is authentic and it's high nutritional value, high antioxidants, it's worth its money. If it is not authentic, then it's not worth it. If it is low value of antioxidant, it's not worth it. So there are more than one parameters to determine the quality of the honey in this case. The antioxidants and the authenticity of the honey by knowing the amount of fructose and glucose. Any other questions? Well, Intisar, I think that's all.
I have a question, please.
Yeah, sure.
How can we be a part of this research if we are not studying at the University of Sultan Qaboos University?
Okay, if you are not a part of that, if you want to join as a research assistant, or you can do your master or PhD. Some students doing their PhD or their master, then you can join us like this. I mean, as a student there. Other ways will be difficult because, of course, we're giving the priority for the students, really. So they can do their activity. I mean, as a part of their graduation projects. This is what we are doing.
Okay, and is there any specific major I have to be studying to be a part of this research? Because I'm studying forensic science and I don't think it's, I'm gonna be a part of this laboratory.
Okay, if you are studying forensic science, yeah, well, forensic, it depends. There are many, I mean, it depends. Is it on, you see, forensic is a very broad science. Part of it is related to chemistry and the rest is not. But really where I need people, I mean, type of people they can contribute to this research is more like analytical chemists, really. You need to have a good background in analytical chemistry, good background, a fairly solid background in analytical chemistry. If you fulfill that, then you can do a good job in this. Okay, I hope, Abir, I answered your question.
Yeah, thanks, Professor.
Okay, there's one more question about cosmetics. Did you work on cosmetics? Cosmetics is a big challenges. We tried in collaboration with Dr. Saeed to get some funds, Dr. Saeed Al-Shafi'i, but unfortunately it didn't fly, so we didn't work on it. We hope we can, maybe in the future we get some funds. See, funding is important to work on these things. It's expensive to work on these things. So yes, if we get some funds in future, this is one of very attractive area, cosmetics. Okay. Assistant, again, this for the works and all these things, it just depends heavily on your qualifications and what you can contribute. Okay, now لتسأل عن giving. Okay, this is an advice. Okay, I think I covered most of the questions, right, Abir? Okay.
خلاص جماعة، ما في أي سؤال استفسار عشان ننتقل. هنا الصفحة الثانية، ممكن كل شخص يكتب رأيه في المحاضرة وكذا كلمات شكر أو أي شيء تريدوا تقدموها للدكتور.
It will be good if you are really honest. See, my main thing was trying to keep you awake throughout this lecture, because I know Zoom and all these things, it's very difficult to keep people awake. So I was trying my best to do that. So if you have anything you can help me in that, it would be great. Thank you very much.
You did actually, Doctor.
Oh,
you
thank
did your
you.
best.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much for your words and staying with me throughout this lecture. This is not an easy thing to do. Thanks. Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone for this. Thank you very much for your interaction and enjoying this. This is really good. Okay, it seems there are في هدايا يبدو، فيقول لكم المشرف انتظروا يسحب يعني.
في الختام تقريبا، قبل الختام احنا بنسوي سحب في النهاية، لكن حابين نشكر الدكتور. وفيت دكتور حيدر، بروف حيدر، وما شاء الله يعني كانت المحاضرة ريتش full of information. يعطيك العافية.
شكرا جزيلا، مشكور. Thanks. And thank you for organizing this. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. أيضا نحب نشكر الداعمين لهذا المجلس، مشتل الزيزفون، يوفر أنواع كثير من الشتلات. عندنا حساب إرث. طبعا يا جماعة من فضلكم ممكن تضيفوا هالحسابات تدعموهم لأنهم يستاهلوا ما شاء الله. إرث للمستلزمات الرجالية، كوش للأحذية الرجالية والنسائية والشنط، واي ستار متجر إلكتروني لبيع الأشياء المميزة، F4 كلوك متجر إلكتروني أيضا يوفر مجموعة من الكماليات مثل الساعات والمحافظ. المترفة ماركة، متجر المترفة ماركة للهدايا، تنسيق الهدايا وبيع العطور. متجر دايموند يصنع أساور بأشكال جميلة ومختلفة. طبعا الحين وصلنا لفقرة السحب. الهدايا مقدمة من الداعمين اللي ذكرناهم سابقا، وراح يتم السحب على 5 فائزين عشوائي من الحضور، وراح نعطيهم هدايا أيضا من داعمين مختلفين. أي شخص راح يطلع اسمه راح يتم التواصل معه لاحقا.
interesting. أنا أسوي نفس السبين بس حل أسئلة في كام 2102
إن شاء الله. مبروك علي المعمري، هو الشخص
علي.
الإيميل يتواصل معك. مبروك. من سعيد الحظ الثالث. مبروك. وفي شخصين. مبارك للشخص الرابع. آخر شخص. ممتاز. نبارك لسعداء الحظ في هذه الليلة وفي هذه المحاضرة. إن شاء الله الفائز يكثر في المحاضرات القادمة. شرفتونا وآنستونا، وشكرا، نكرر الشكر للدكتور حيدر.
مشكورين على الاستضافة وشكرا على التنظيم، صراحة كان رائع وأحسنتم، وبكل التوفيق أتمنى لكم إن شاء الله.
جزاك الله خير.
مع السلامة.